The camera in apartment 4B. I never believed in paranormal stories, not the ghost videos, not the Reddit stories, not any of that. But after what happened in apartment 4B, I don't sleep with the lights off anymore. This happened 3 years ago. At the time, I'd just moved into a cheap apartment building outside the city. The place was old, quiet, and honestly kind of depressing. Peeling wallpaper, flickering hallway lights, the smell of dust and cigarettes trapped inside the walls. But rent was cheap. That's all I cared about. The landlord was this old guy named Raymond. He barely looked at me during the lease signing, just handed me the keys and kept repeating one thing: "Don't bother the people on the 4th floor." At first, I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. The building had 5 floors total, but almost nobody lived on the 4th one. Every time I walked past it, the hallway felt colder than the rest of the building. No TVs, no voices, no movement, just silence. I lived in apartment 3A, right below 4B. The first weird thing happened on my second night there. Around 1:46 a.m., I woke up to the sound of something dragging across the ceiling. Slow, heavy, like furniture being moved. I remember staring at the ceiling half asleep, waiting for it to stop. But it kept going. Scrape, scrape, scrape. Finally, I got annoyed and grabbed a broomstick, hitting the ceiling twice. Everything stopped immediately. Dead silence. I went back to sleep. The next morning, while leaving for work, I noticed something strange. Apartment 4B had eviction notices taped all over the door. Final warning, past due, contact management. The papers looked old, really old, like they'd been there for months, maybe years. But that didn't make sense. I heard someone walking around in there last night. Later that evening, I asked Raymond about it. The second I mentioned 4B, his expression changed. He stopped smoking and looked directly at me. Then he said, "Nobody lives there." I laughed awkwardly. Then who was moving furniture around all night? He didn't answer, just stared at me for a few seconds before walking back into his office. That night, I started hearing noises again, only this time. They sounded closer, not above me. Inside my apartment, tiny sounds, footsteps in the hallway, the sound of breathing, a cabinet door slowly creaking open. I checked everything. Nothing. No sign of anyone. I even searched under the bed like a paranoid child. Still nothing. At exactly 2:13 a.m., my bedroom light turned on by itself. I sat frozen on the edge of my bed. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. For a few seconds, there was only static, then a whisper. "He sees you." The call disconnected. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. The next morning, I bought security cameras online, 2 for the apartment, 1 facing the front door, 1 facing my bedroom. I set them up before work and forgot about it. Until 11:38 p.m., I was eating dinner at my desk when my phone buzzed. Motion detected, bedroom camera. I opened the app. At first, everything looked normal. Empty room, dark hallway. Then the closet door slowly opened. I remember leaning closer to my phone screen. The closet was completely dark inside. And then something moved. A face. Just for half a second, pale skin, wide eyes, a smile too big to look human. I dropped my phone so hard it cracked against the floor. By the time I grabbed it again, the room was empty. I drove home in under 10 minutes. When I got inside, the apartment looked untouched. No broken locks, no open windows, nothing. But the closet door was open. I know for a fact I left it closed. That was the first night I considered leaving. But I didn't, because I'm stupid or maybe curious. The next few days got worse. I started hearing knocking from inside the walls. Always 3 knocks. Never more, never less. At work, I couldn't focus anymore. I looked exhausted all the time. My co-workers noticed. One of them joked that I looked haunted. I laughed. But honestly, that's exactly how I felt. Then came the elevator incident. I'll never forget it. I entered the elevator around midnight after getting home late. I pressed 3. The doors closed, but instead of going down, the elevator went up. Floor 4. The doors opened. The hallway outside was dark except for one flickering light near apartment 4B, and standing in front of the apartment door was a man. Tall, thin, facing the wall, completely motionless. I pressed the close door button repeatedly. Nothing happened. Then the man slowly tilted his head toward me. Not his body, just his head. And I realized something horrifying. His smile was stretched impossibly wide, way too wide. The elevator doors finally shut. I could still see him smiling as the gap closed. That night, I packed a bag.